Warning: viewer discretion is advised. This review is not recommended for people who think that every female superhero should be hot enough for them to jerk off to. If your biggest criticism of Supergirl is hindi siya sexy, bro, you're reviewing Pornhub, not a movie. Go outside, touch grass, and come back here because you're all wrong about Supergirl. Yeah, we're starting there because the biggest criticism na nakita ko sa Supergirl is hindi yung villain, hindi yung pacing, hindi yung story. It is Supergirl isn't hot enough or Supergirl is ugly. Dude, she's an orphan with enough trauma to make a therapist a billionaire. Hindi pa ba sapat yung ex mo dyan? So bakit yung concern mo is kung masasearch mo ba siya sa Rule 34 after mo panoorin yung movie? Okay, now that we've bullied the weirdos and the creepy guys, let's talk about the actual movie. One thing I immediately loved about this movie is that this isn't really a superhero film. At least, hindi siya yung typical na superhero story. Hindi siya tungkol sa saving the world, hindi siya tungkol sa good versus evil, hindi rin siya tungkol sa destiny or ikaw yung chosen one.
I am the chosen one.
Everybody here is just trying to survive. Krem, the villain, trying to survive what's left of his species. Ruthye, trying to survive her grief. Kara, just trying to survive just being Kara. And Krypto, literal na trying to survive. Relatable? Oo, just like you and me, we're trying to survive our Meralco bills. Tangina, ang mahal. So everybody is driven by self-interest. Everybody wants something. No one wakes up and goes, I'm gonna go save innocent people's lives today. At least, not yet. And surprisingly, ayun yung nagpa-refresh ng story. Kasi lahat ng character motivations feel human. Ironically, kahit mga alien sila. This entire movie, it is basically a one giant survival story. Physical survival, emotional survival, moral survival. Everyone is trying not to lose something or someone, kaya kahit simple yung plot, it works. Hindi siya trying hard maging Interstellar, hindi siya trying hard maging The Godfather. It's literally, go here, protect this, punch that guy, and maybe walwal along the way. Basic as hell. Pero alam mo kung bakit effective? Because the emotions are simple too. Simple doesn't automatically mean boring. Minsan, mas mahirap pa nga magkwento ng simpleng story ng maayos kesa sa complicated story na wala namang kwenta. Thor Love and Thunder. There's this post from the legend himself, Hideo Kojima, perfectly encapsulating the genre of the movie. He says that it's not really a superhero film, it's a coming-of-age movie. Yes, exactly. It's a coming-of-age movie, but instead of smoking in parking lots and college parties, nasa space sila kicking slavers' butts to try and save her dog. Now, let's talk about Kara. Because holy crap, she is so cool. She's sarcastic, mahilig uminom, and I imagine palamura kung hindi siya rated PG and mahilig makipagsuntukan. She's a complete disaster and I love her. You know I love red flags, or red capes dito sa situation na to. The biggest mistake people will make is comparing her to Clark. Please, magkaiba sila. Clark never really knew Krypton. Kara watched it die. Clark never met his actual parents. Kara watched her slowly wither away. Clark's first memories are of Earth. Kara's first memories is of a dying planet. Actually, hindi na nga siya planet eh. It's a glorified snow bowl. So of course, she's different. Of course, she's angrier. Of course, meron siyang angst. Sa Superman movie, yung parents ni Clark basically sent Clark to Earth to rule above humanity. To be basically a god. Very anak ng politician themed. Pero si Kara, she wasn't sent here to be a symbol. She was sent here just to survive. Imagine being dropped into a planet with no purpose other than don't die. But despite all of that, she still chooses to do good. But not immediately. Hindi siya katulad ni Clark na automatic tumutulong. Actually nga, at the start, wala siyang pake. She's not trying to save anyone. She's just existing, drinking, flying around, trying to find a resemblance of home, and also punching whoever deserves it. Another thing I loved about this movie is the fight scenes. The yellow sun scenes. The moment those rays hit Kara, parang nag-on yung boss music. Everyone suddenly became very, very fucked. Those fight scenes, fast, brutal, creative. Hindi lang siya bugbugan for bugbugan's sake like ang probinsyano. It actually moves the story forward. And speaking of fun, every joke landed, at least for me. Kasi I'm a sucker for sarcasm and dry humor at mga taong emotionally unavailable. This movie doesn't stop every 5 minutes to tell you that, look guys, we made a joke. Natural lang. The comedy comes from the characters' personalities, hindi forced one-liners. Now, let's talk about the characters. Let's start with Ruthye, or as I like to call her, Revenge, the character. Because that is literally her personality. I'm gonna go kill Krem. Okay, fair. What else? I'm gonna go kill Krem. Yes, girl, we heard you like the first 12 times. Honestly, she's probably the weakest character sa film na to. Not because she's badly acted. Actually, the actress did a great job nga eh. She's Pinay, right? Yeah, she is. It's just her personality is revenge. That's it. And this ties into why I disagree with people saying walang character arc si Kara. Exactly, because Kara isn't the one who's supposed to change. Ruthye is. Kara is just the catalyst. Kaya nung ending nung pinigilan niya si Ruthye na patayin si Krem, I freaking loved that scene. Not because, yay, nobody dies. No, because that's the opposite of what actually happened. After convincing Ruthye not to become a killer, Kara kills Krem herself. It's morally messy, but it's consistent. She's just making sure that Ruthye doesn't carry that weight of killing someone for the rest of her life. And that is the arc. And speaking of Krem, his basic, like NPC basic, this man has a visual uniqueness of an anime background character. Half the time, I couldn't even tell him apart from his own goons. And ito lagi yung issue ko sa kahit anong produced by James Gunn. It's like the character design department ran out of budget. Yeah, Krem is as basic as it gets. But you know what? I don't mind it. Because Krem isn't supposed to be complicated. He's just trying to save his species. Okay, understandable, but what's not understandable is you becoming a pedophile and a slave. Like, bro, what the fuck? Having understandable motivations doesn't make you morally gray. Sometimes an asshole is just an asshole. At hindi ko kailangan ng 20-minute flashback explaining kung bakit siya naging villain. We already had enough of those. And honestly, people nowadays have been spoiled by villains. Merong hot villains, merong understandable villains, and merong villains na he's actually the hero if you think about it. Just, bro, shut the fuck up. Some people just suck. So, Krem sucks as a character and as a villain. Moving on. Now let's talk about the real main character, the main man himself, Lobo. Jason Momoa is literally born for this role. Di ko nga alam kung umaarte siya eh. I think they just pointed a camera at him and said, just go and be cool. And he did. That's it. No notes. This man has so much aura that he doesn't even need a lot of screen time. And honestly, I'm glad that they didn't overuse him. Yes, nakakabitin, pero that's good because now the viewers want more. Leave the audience hungry. Don't force feed us. Marvel, I'm looking at you. And how can we forget about Krypto? This dog has zero dialogue but somehow he becomes Kara's biggest emotional anchor. Hindi siya nandyan para maging whimsical or comic relief lang. Kara has something she genuinely cares about. Kasi si Krypto is the only one that is left of her home or that feels like home. And that says so much about Krypto's importance in this universe. So protect this dog at all costs. Back-to-back na siyang naging kawawa. First the Superman and now sa Supergirl. I think James Gunn is preparing us for something. Please, wag naman. One thing I also really appreciated is this movie is genuinely exciting. Not because the story is unpredictable. Actually, it's pretty straightforward nga eh. You can guess where it's going. The destination isn't really the point. It's the journey. Ha! Very cliche, but it's true. Every different planet, every fight, every weird alien, and every decision Kara makes kept me on hook. Not because I was confused to story, but because I was invested. The pacing in this movie also deserves credit. This movie moves. Hindi siya nag-unnecessary side quest, wala siyang fillers whatsoever. Hindi siya nagiging ang probinsyano. Kaya na ko patrip yung ang probinsyano. Anyway, everything pushes the movie forward. And because the story is really simple, the pacing benefits from it. Sometimes less is really more. Unless only rice or money. Now I want to talk about that one specific moment where Kara went to outer space and just screamed and shouted at the top of her lungs with no sound whatsoever. That scene was absolute cinema. It really captured kung ano yung nararamdaman ni Kara at that time without over-explaining it or overused drama. Now, before we wrap this up, can we please talk about the dumbest discourse surrounding this movie? Apparently, there are people saying, Supergirl is ugly. Bro, respectfully, stop gooning on Reddit. Because how? How do you look at Milly Alcock and go, dude, your standards aren't high. You just have a concerning internet history. I swear, people don't watch movies anymore. They're just ranting on Twitter or Thread with one hand. So, is this movie perfect? No, not even close. The plot is basic. Krem is a walking objective marker. Ruthye could have used a bit more personality. And personally, I definitely wanted more Lobo. And sometimes that's okay. Not every movie has to be Oscar worthy. It just has to properly tell the story that it's trying to tell, and it did. Yes, it did. You just have to watch the movie without thinking that this Supergirl isn't hot because she is. And kung tinanggal mo yung kamanyakan sa isip mo, for just a moment, you will really understand the movie. Yeah. Sorry for that rant. Hindi lahat kailangan maging The Dark Knight. Sometimes I just want to watch a traumatized alien beat the absolute crap out of another alien. And you know what? It's fucking awesome. Superhero movies are allowed to be fun. Superhero movies are allowed to be simple. Kaya nga ang tawag dito ay popcorn movie. So if you're expecting the greatest film ever made, temper your expectations, bro. Pero kung gusto mo ng superhero movie na may puso, badass fight scenes, great humor, surprisingly emotional core, and Jason Momoa aura maxing, you're probably gonna have a great time watching this. If you enjoyed this video, welcome to the channel Odd Potato. This is where we overanalyze movies, obsess over games, and occasionally find life lessons from people wearing capes. If that sounds like your kind of content, please consider subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go wait for more Lobo because that man showed up, stole the room, refused to explain himself, and just left. Just like your ex. Bye!